Nike, the brand that's synonymous with winning. The swoosh is everywhere, on the world's top athletes, in the most iconic sports moments, and on billions of sneakers sold every year. But behind that iconic logo and those high-flying endorsement deals, there's a darker side, a side that many athletes are starting to speak out about. Why do some athletes hate Nike, despite it being one of the most powerful brands in the world? It's not just about the money, the sponsorships, or the shoes. There are stories of broken promises, unfulfilled expectations, and athletes who've been left frustrated and abandoned by a brand they thought would have their backs. From the controversial contracts to manipulative marketing, the truth behind the hate is far more complex than you might think. In this video, we'll dive deep into the reasons why some of the world's biggest athletes are turning their backs on Nike. Trust me, you're not gonna look at your next pair of Air Jordans the same way. The iron grip of Nike's marketing machine. When we think of Nike, we think of athletes like LeBron James, Serena Williams, and Cristiano Ronaldo. These athletes are the epitome of success, and Nike has made sure to tie their brands to their iconic names. But here's the thing, Nike doesn't just sponsor athletes, they control them. Nike's contracts are famous for being the multi-million-dollar deals, but many athletes have found themselves caught in what can only be described as an unspoken trap. Nike has a way of creating the dependency, and athletes often feel like they're stuck in an endless loop of promoting products without full control over their own image. One of the biggest criticisms from athletes is that Nike is too controlling. Take the Colin Kaepernick, for example. His controversial protests during the national anthem created a seismic shift in his relationship with both the NFL and Nike. While Nike stuck with him in 2018 with a campaign that said, "Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything," many athletes in the sports world, particularly in football, felt the pressure of Nike's marketing strategy. Some felt like their personal beliefs were being exploited for Nike's political agenda. Others didn't feel they had the space to make their own decisions without the brand pulling strings. Broken promises, the dark side of athlete endorsements. Then there are the stories of athletes left high and dry when they fulfilled their part of the deal, only to see Nike fail to deliver on its end. Lance Armstrong, once one of Nike's brightest stars, became a cautionary tale after his doping scandal. Despite the controversy, many argued that Nike cut ties with Armstrong too abruptly, leaving him without the support he might have expected from a brand that had marketed his image for years. And what about the Maria Sharapova? After her suspension from tennis due to a drug violation, Nike was quick to drop her sponsorship. While their decision was partly due to the scandal, many critics felt that the way Nike handled it showed their tendency to jump ship when an athlete's reputation is on the line, leaving them with nothing but their own brand and public relations mess to clean up. But it's not just the high-profile athletes who feel betrayed. Many rising stars have shared how Nike's promises often don't live up to the hype. Contracts that seem generous on paper turn into long, drawn-out negotiations where athletes find themselves in an unequal relationship with the brand. Unrealistic expectations and exploitative contracts. Nike is known for its massive marketing campaigns, but those campaigns sometimes place unrealistic expectations on athletes, especially rookies or those just beginning their professional careers. Take the case of Zion Williamson, one of the NBA's biggest young stars. When he was drafted, Nike didn't just offer him a shoe deal, they made him the face of the brand in a way that seemed almost overwhelming. His signature shoe, the Nike Air Zoom Freak 1, was hyped as if it would change the game for him. But here's the problem, Nike's marketing machine often overpromises and underdelivers. For athletes like Williamson, the pressure to perform at a superstar level with the weight of a brand like Nike on their shoulders can feel suffocating. Some athletes have even admitted that they feel trapped by these high expectations, and that Nike's machine can be exploitative in how it pushes their image. The brand is also notorious for luring athletes in with promises of greatness, only to provide minimal support in terms of actual career growth. It's not uncommon for young athletes to find themselves locked into contracts where they get far less than their fair share of the profits generated by their image. Nike's treatment of women athletes, the ugly truth. For women in sports, Nike has faced serious backlash regarding its treatment of female athletes. One of the most public and controversial cases was that of Allison Felix, the most decorated track and field Olympian in US history. In 2019, Felix publicly called out Nike for offering her a contract that cut her pay after she became pregnant. Nike's initial response to Felix's concerns about maternity leave was that they would not guarantee to pay her during the time off. The public outrage was immediate, and it was one of the biggest moments of backlash the company has ever faced. Felix's story wasn't an isolated case. Other women athletes have claimed that Nike treated their careers as less important than their male counterparts, often offering them lower pay, less support, and fewer opportunities. Many criticize Nike for using its brand to market these athletes as symbols of empowerment while simultaneously failing to empower them in the ways that truly mattered. In response to these controversies, Nike has made some adjustments to its policies, but the damage was done. The brand's hypocrisy was on full display, and for some athletes, it felt like the price of the Nike deal was much more than just financial. It came at the cost of their dignity and respect. The underpaid workers behind the swoosh. Let's not forget that Nike's moral failings go beyond the athletes. The brand has long been criticized for its treatment of workers in its overseas factories, where low wages, poor working conditions, and child labor have been linked to the company's global success. Athletes like Michael Jordan and LeBron James may make millions, but the reality for many of those involved in the production of Nike's products is much darker. For athletes like the Kaepernick, who are outspoken about social justice, the idea that their endorsement deals are linked to a company whose labor practices are considered unethical can be deeply uncomfortable. Nike, despite its progressive marketing campaigns, has often been criticized for profiting from countries where the workers are treated unfairly. Bottom line, why some athletes are walking away. So why are some athletes walking away from Nike despite the money and fame? Simply put, it's because they feel disrespected. They feel like they're being used as mere marketing tools rather than valued partners in a business relationship. Whether it's through exploitative contracts, lack of support, broken promises, or marketing campaigns that feel more like manipulation, the reality behind the swoosh is far from perfect. Athletes want more than just their image plastered on a billboard. They want to feel like their voices matter, their careers are supported, and their well-being is prioritized. And when Nike fails to meet these expectations, athletes are increasingly finding that walking away is their best option. What do you think about Nike's treatment of athletes? Is it just business, or is there a darker side to the world's biggest sports brand? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's discuss.